I'm not going to be making content for a while I focus on other projects. But I want to just leave with this thought because I was just thinking of it just now as I was comprehending taking this break. Because for instance, if I do like 10 videos, I could have done my audio book. I've still got like maybe 10 chapters left to record, and I think I should be prioritizing things like that. Let's just get this audio book done. Let's start editing this upcoming book. Let's just do that because there's enough videos. And as I've stated recently, there is a bit of a block on everything. I'm not getting the views and all those things. So it's like, let's work on other things that are a bit more significant. It'd be nice to have tangible things, and of course, they can bring me an income in the future. But I want to leave with this thought: when you think about money and wealth, what does it mean to you, and what would you do with it? Because I think there's a level of some people just they think they're a bit greedy. They just think of having greed. And if someone does have money, then people don't actually think they're greedy. Me, I consider wealth an opportunity for freedom. That's how I see it. I don't see it as a point to say, "Oh, I just can't wait to be able to buy this massive TV, this fancy car." I'm happy having a modest car. I just see it as the more resources I have, the more freedom of choice I have, and less stress financially. Because that's a huge burden in our lives, isn't it? But it's not the be all and end all. There's still so many areas that and that's why you see some people have money, but they're also like miserable because literally you could buy everything on the planet, but it doesn't feel like a lonely heart and things like that. Or a lack of self-worth. Like, see, some people don't even believe in themselves and they don't even love themselves. And that sends me on to another route. I was trying not to forget too much because it's split into two. So the one side is think about why you want money and what you spend that money on. Think about, does it bring value to your life? Because like a lot of people do, they end up working themselves to death to sustain a lifestyle that they don't need to maintain, and it's unnecessary. So literally, you can live on less. So although like a lot of us, of course, we would love to have wealth, you can still have a level of freedom in your life if you just minimize a bit more. And that's a choice, isn't it? How much will you give? I say that. How much of yourself will you sell for the currency of gold? Of course, that is money. And it's something worth pondering. The other side of that, I just want to quickly say is, I don't expect anyone with wealth to see my content, but you never know. I think it's really important that even if you become successful, you become wealthy, even famous, do not lose sight of reality. I think it's a sad place to get to, where you think you're better than the average person, because it's about being humble. And I think also, because personally, I was putting myself in this position. I'll explain it. If I had wealth, yes, I would like nice things, and it'd be nice to like have different experiences. And I think that's what's really important is we have as many experiences in this lifetime as possible. Really to evolve. And I think that goes from poverty, and of course, if we can achieve wealth, great. But some people, they spend a significant part of their life with wealth, which isn't common to the rest of us. But at the same time, if you refuse to humble yourself and experience what the common everyday person does experience, then you're actually limiting your experience in this lifetime too. So most people may not get the wealth side, and that's a shame. It's just, that's life. But some people, they do get the wealth side and they don't get the poverty side. Now, no one's saying you have to go and live in a tent and like experience it by that. But I'll share an experience. When I'm on holiday, for instance, I was picturing this. Like, it'd be nice to treat my mum. If I become really successful, it'd be really nice to treat my mum to like a 5-star hotel. She's done so much for me in my life, and I think it wouldn't be a case of just go on holiday. I want to give her like an incredible holiday, an experience she's never had, and that'd be great. But then I started to think about it, and I thought that I wouldn't want that for every holiday. Like, I know you can have it, but it's a bit too. I don't want to say clean, but it's a bit too. I don't know, luxurious. I think you're missing, if you only have those holidays, you're missing the humble part of a holiday. So even if I was really, really wealthy, I wouldn't have luxury holidays all the time. I'd be happy just to go to a cheaper hotel, that is the average person is at, and just mingle amongst everybody, and integrate by going on like those coach trips where you get to see more like of the area. So if you're like in Europe, for instance, you go on a coach trip, you get to see places, and it's like it's a day out. That's special. Yeah, if you've got money, you can just hire the car and then go and do it all yourself, and that's a great experience too. Um, but I do think a case of you will. I think even if you like, for instance, if you have money and you was to go on and literally have that level of humility where you can integrate and literally have an experience like everybody else, it'll be an adventure. It'll be an adventure. Like, these coach trips, they're not for the faint of heart. They can get cramped, they can get hot, they can get stuffy, you can get the sun in your eyes. It's crazy. You can be dry. It can be really precarious when it goes on some dodgy roads. But most people survive, and you come away with a story. You come away with that. You know you've been through something there. That was fun. That was a day out. That was an episode of life. And I think you can protect yourself too much in a bubble if you've got money, and you'll forgo those moments. And it's like, I wouldn't want to forgo those moments. I wouldn't want to. I would just as I would in, and that's what I would want. I would want to have the nice things when I can, but there'd also be moments where I want to minimize it as much as I can, and really just integrate. It's not about the price, it's more about the experience. And that's what I would say. If you have wealth, don't be so like up yourself that you forget that there's other sides to life. It's like, just because you get to the top of a mountain doesn't mean you have to sort of forget all the other aspects of it and just say, I've outgrown that. I can never go there ever again. It's like, well, that's sad. That'd be sad. But again, people's choices. But I would say, if, for instance, you get to the top of your mountain and it's incredibly lonely and you don't know why you're miserable, it's because effectively you probably lost sight of reality, and you're not integrating with the rest of the rest of society. So you feel maybe a bit too different to everybody else. But maybe if you just humble yourself and be prepared to have those moments. I mean, you see celebrities and things like Keanu Reeves. You see him just sitting on like, the subway, and I think it's New York subway, and he's just like mingling amongst everyone, because there's something beautiful about just existing and just being. It's not status, it's not your money, nothing defines you. You just literally just want to be like free of your like free. So that's literally just living, and it's like being in the moment. And I think there's something incredibly beautiful about that. And I think at the same time, I think with that understanding, I think it's worth considering the fact that the rest of us who don't maybe have money, is maybe don't put such significance on it either. Because, okay, it'd be nice to have those wonderful experiences and maybe things we haven't had before. But, as beautiful as that is and as nice, of course, it doesn't mean that it's everything, though, is it? Because, like, still those little moments, those cheaper moments, they're still incredible. So I think people just got to stop looking at like money is the solution to everything, or posturing above anybody else. So effectively, you start to lose sight of reality. Reality. But yeah, so of course, strive for more, be ambitious, fulfill your goals, effectively live your dreams, isn't it? So like I say, here we go. I'll plug them one more time. There's my books. So effectively, what I'm going to be working on instead of my books is I will be editing the next spiritual book, but also Find Your Peace to Save Your Soul. I still have about, I think, 8 chapters to record on the audio book for that. In all honesty, I should have done it by now, but winter, I get a bit seasonal depression, I think, with winter, and I just stop altogether. And I feel a bit inspired. So rather than sit here and do videos, I think it's important I maybe focus on recording that audio book. Let's get that done. That's another bow, a string to the bow. It's something more to be proud of. It's like, there's another audio book. Nice. Let's get this other book done. I mean, now there's 7 books. It's like, come on, man, you're doing something here. And it's like, it'd be nice to have success, but I'm always proud of what I achieve, the goals I set. And, maybe, like I said, maybe some of us don't get those experiences that some people do. But I think if you're wealthy, for instance, you've got the chance to have every experience for the most part. Of course, when it comes to love, you can't force love. That's the one thing you can't, no matter how much you might want to, you can't buy that. But you can afford a lot of other things, which means, literally, like I said, if you humble yourself and appreciate the little things in life, and have more of a modest holiday and mingle between people, I think you'll find there's something incredibly beautiful about that. And literally, by doing that, you literally expand really the depth of your human experience. And I just think that's something worth embracing.